Hey everyone, it's Jake at Jake's Metal Chat. Hope you're all well and welcome to episode 38 of my Metal Vault. For those of you who have been watching for a while, you know the drill. But for those who are brand new, welcome to my channel and welcome to this series where I will be exploring and showing you my favorite albums within heavy metal to thrash metal to death metal to black metal, doom metal, sludge metal, folk metal, you name it, all of that excellent stuff. And I'd like to apologize. I was meant to record this episode Friday last week, but never got around to it. I had so much going on, and so we scheduled it for today. It's going to be out tomorrow on Tuesday because that's when my episodes usually go out, Tuesdays and Fridays. So this one was supposed to be Friday, got moved to Tuesday, and my next one, which will be out Friday, was meant to be Tuesday, but I'm going to record that Wednesday, so it was ready for Friday. And I'm going up to Yorkshire for a festival on Thursday, hence why I can't do it Friday. So, apologies again, and let's crack on with the band and album in question. As well as talking about the albums, I will be talking about the bands as well. Any brief you know, history about the band and any releases leading up to the album in question. So anyway, this band's all the way from Oakland, California. They've been around for 33 years now. A band that I've seen, I don't know how many times I've seen these guys live now. Countless times. First time I saw them ever was at Download in 2007. And the band that I'm talking about, because I got the album here ready for you. And of course, for this series, I'm covering things from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. That will lead to the late 60s and early 70s as well. So stay tuned for that. But the album I got is from 1994. This band formed in 1991. I am talking about Machine Head. And yeah, a band that I have seen on numerous occasions at festivals, headlining shows, and you know, there's a good mix of both there. And and I actually got to see them when they did this entire album in, you know, from start to finish, its entirety. Can't get words out today. I do apologize. And it's my all-time favorite album of theirs. It's their debut. So once again, this is Machine Head. This is their 1994 debut, Burn My Eyes. And there's a reason why this one's my all-time favorite by this band, but I'll get into why in a minute. I'm going to talk a little bit about the band. There's the CD there. There's the guys right there. That the lineup at the time. Of course, Rob's still in the band today. It's the artwork. And again, some lyrics. And I believe there's some more. No, I thought there's more artwork in here, but I'll just say some more lyrics. And yeah, this band here. I mean, not everyone's gonna like this band here, and you like what you like, and that's fair. That's fair. But I do love this album. Of course, this wasn't the first one I ever heard. I heard one of their later albums after this, sometime after this one. Their 2003 album, Through the Ashes of Empires. That's the first album I ever got by Machine Head. But the first album I ever heard all the way through was this one. And it completely blew me away. So I got this back in like, I get this, 2000 and probably 2008, maybe 2006, somewhere between that. Yeah. So once again, Machine Head. Let's talk about him. Formed on the 12th of October, 1991. So they will be 33 years old. So, of course, again, they are from Oakland, California, and the band was formed by Rob Flynn, who has been in pretty much in the band from the very beginning. But before that, he was in a bunch of other bands. He was in Forbidden Evil on guitar, of course, later changing the name to Forbidden. Of course, he was on the demos for that. And of course, he's in a very well-known thrash metal band, but very underrated as well, I think. And I finally got to see him at Bloodstock, Violence. And he was still in Violence when he formed this band, but obviously was. I'm trying to remember. I think he was either. I think he was kicked out or he left. But I think I read somewhere he was kicked out, but I can't remember the top of my head. But either way, he formed this band, and obviously before this album came out, there was a demo from 1993. Of course, I don't know, I haven't heard it, but I'm pretty sure it was on YouTube somewhere because some of the songs that will appear on here appeared on this demo. And of course, they did 3 splits before this album. So one of them was called Dangerous Visions, which has one called Black Train Jack, Dog Eat Dog, Life of Agony, Machine Head, of course, Obituary, and Sepultura. They all have one song each that they have on this split. So yeah, a 5-way split. And then the other one was Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight, which was Megadeth, Machine Head, Ministry, Biohazard, and Grave Diggers. I don't think I've said that right. It's Diggaz. I don't know how you say that. And of course, the tour 1995. So that was Slayer, Machine Head, and Biohazard. I mean, if you I mean, you've got to see that tour back then, and you like all three of the bands, you would have had one hell of a good time. And of course, 1994 rolls around, and they release this. And let's talk about Machine Head as well as anything else throughout their entire history of being a band. Of course, this album was released on Roadrunner Records. I'm not entirely sure when these guys actually were on Roadrunner Records, when they actually signed with them, but then now they're with Nuclear Blast. Excuse me. And yeah, I was just completely blown away by this album when I heard it the first time. Just from that first opening track, Divian, which you got the drums and then you got the guitars, and it's just all just from start to finish, crushing, but all like those I don't want to say kind of dark melodic moments there, like especially with like A Thousand Lies, and then there's of course like A Thousand Lies, but that's like how it's like that opening to that song. And then you get something like Real Eyes, Realize, Real Lies, which is just more guitars and samplings from like news reports, and then you get Rob's vocals in there. But yeah, that's just say all the song names from start to finish. So Divian has that great opening with the drums. The guitar work, all of it's just really well done. Then Old, which has drums and bass and a little bit of guitar with going up the strings. Rob doing a spoken word bit for that before it kicks right in. A Thousand Lies with that somewhat melodic opening, but you got that, and then it just kicks in, and it kicks in to the song None But My Own. Again, just a really cool track there, and then going into The Rage to Overcome, just an angry song there. Not saying that because it's got rage in it. Death Church, just totally off the wall there. A Nation of Fire, Blood for Blood. I'm your, no, I'm your God now. Real eyes, realize real lies, and then to finish it all off, the song Block, which on the 1993 demo it was called Fuck It All, which obviously is in the lyrics there. But the song originally was called Fuck It All, but then changed it to Block. Now, let me just get a quick bit of water in my throat was a bit dry there. And yeah. Anyway, so just a one hell of a crushing album from start to finish. Either I'm just trying to think now. Like I said earlier, if you're not a fan of Machine, then you're probably not going to like this, because looking them up here, they are classed as groove thrash metal, and it's got new metal in there. But obviously, the only time I think they only went new metal, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, is when they went to the Burning Red, which came out in 1999. But this is just straight up aggressive groove metal. It's groove metal, but it's very, very, very aggressive. Very aggressive sounding. So this one, and of course the second album, The More Things Change, that's from 1997. Still sticking with the groove metal side of it, but then obviously went to more new metal and the Burning Red. But if you want just more of the groove metal side to Machine Head, and you just want older stuff, this one and their second album. But then how I got onto them was obviously for the Ashes of Empires and the song Days Turn Blue to Grey, and then I heard Imperium. But here's the thing with Machine Head, and I, like I said, the Burning Red went more on that new metal stage, and I can't stand new metal as much as I used to when I was a teenager, but because I started getting into more heavier things like death metal and thrash metal and black metal and doom metal. So that's all just been not like probably not like knocked in the bin with like two other genres I don't particularly care about. But groove metal, on the other hand, that is staying within that list of heavy metal, thrash metal, death metal, black metal, doom metal, sludge metal, folk metal. All the other subgenres surrounding those ones like death, doom, and so on and so forth. Groove metal is in there, and this is a groove metal album. You can agree, you can disagree. Everyone's got their opinions at the end of the day. But to me, this is groove metal. And now let's get on to the album. It's more about the album in terms of who engineered it, who mastered it, who recorded it, so on and so forth. So Colin Richardson, so everyone should know Colin Richardson. He is obviously a producer, and he's done a lot of albums for a lot of bands. He did the engineering for Realm of Chaos for Boltthrower, as well as War Master and the Fourth Crusade, and for Victory, as well as the one split that they did, and the Cenotaph and Spearhead EPs. Brutal Truth, did that album. Extreme Conditions Demand Extreme Responses. Burn the Churches album, the remixing for 2005. And pretty sure it came out in 2005, but either way, I'll get onto it when I find that album itself. Of course, for Cannibal Corpse, Bloodthirst, if we're talking about albums, for Carcass, Symphonies of Sickness, Necroticism, Descanting, The Insalubrious, Heartwork, Swan Song, Surgical Steel, and much more. Cradle of Filth, Chimera, Darth, Devil Driver, Disincarnate, Dreams of the Carrion Kind, which is a fantastic album. Extreme Noise Terror, so that did the album mixed and produced. Damage 31381. Fear Factory, Solve a New Machine, and Demanufacture, and just to name a few of the Fear Factory releases. Fudge Tunnel, Hate Songs in E minor. Goldflesh, Gore, Gorefest, Gore Guts, Helmlet. I think I just said that twice, but still, I'm just repeating myself right now. Loud Blast, of course, Machine Head, Massacre, Merciless, Napalm Death, Overkill, Reanimator, SOB, Sinister, Sepultura, Slayer, The Exploited, Trivium, Wolf. I think I missed a few more bands in 3 Inches of Blood, Anathema, and Behemoth. And yeah, he's done a lot. Done a lot of bands. Elvati, XDO, and I know I just said them, but Helmet. Yeah. Hamlet, sorry, not Helmet. What am I saying? Yeah, Hamlet. Read that as something else, so I'm a bit tired today. Um, yeah, he's done a lot of stuff there, and of course, did guest vocals on Swan Song and percussion on track 9 for Solve a New Machine by Fear Factory. Of course, guest vocals on Swan Song by Carcass. A lot of people did engineering, mixing, recording, mastering, photographs. For the cover art, that was Dave McKean. Now, that should be a name everyone should know because he's done a lot of artwork for bands. And again, I just mentioned him, Disincarnate, with Dreams of the Carrion Kind, Dream Theater, Fear Factory. He did the Demanufacture, Obsolete album covers. Album cover for James Murphy's album Feeding the Machine. Soul Searching Sun by Life of Agony. Renewal by Creator. As well as this one by Machine Head. He did As the Flower Withers by My Dying Bride and Shades of God by Paradise Lost. Low, Demonic, and the Gathering Testament. So yeah, he's got a lot under his belt, and it's also often works with author Neil Gaiman, of course, Sandman series, which is really cool. That's cool there. So metal and some like fantasy graphic novel series. That's what I was trying to get at there. So metal as well as that. So good list right there. Now, there's another thing about the band Machine Head. Contrary to popular belief, of course, I'm reading this from the Metal Archives. The band were not named after the Deep Purple album by the same name, which is, of course, Machine Head. So that's not where the name came from. Um, Yeah, so if anyone's wondering, no. So for the lineup for this album, of course, is Robb Flynn on guitars and vocals, Logan Madar, I think I said that wrong, on guitars. Of course, I got to see him in a different band, well, Once Human. Saw him at the Beer Keller actually. So I got to see Logan. Adam on the bass. Of course, he's in a band now because obviously he has not been in Machine Head since 2013. And Chris on the drums. And of course, he's in Forbidden now, and I mentioned Forbidden Evil. So kind of full circle right there. But to get back to this album, for any Machine Head fans out there and are not familiar with their debut, then you should definitely give this a good listen because it's hot, it's so damn good. And of course it's going to be an album that I will highly recommend to anyone wanting to listen to early material by their favorite bands. And obviously this is the debut of Machine Head. And it's it's just ridiculous how long this has been out for, because on the 1st of June of this year, this will be 30 years old because it was released on the 1st of June 1994. So nearly 30 years on, this album it's still really heavy. Because I heard this first time when I was like 15, 16 years old. And, obviously my taste in metal's changed over the years, but I still remember because I heard it just before doing this video and forgot how damn heavy it really is, and just how all the other songs, you know, are how great they are. But obviously, my favorites are Divian, Old, A Thousand Lies, Block, but now a new one, Death Church. But if I was going to pick like a favorite song, I always go with Divian, but I think hearing A Thousand Lies again, definitely that one. And this is just a seriously good album. I know there's going to be a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't, you don't like stuff like Machine Head or anything like that. And I know there's certain people that only listen to like certain genres of metal. But if you like hard, heavy, aggressive style of music, so like the really, like you like aggressiveness in metal, this has definitely got that. Because you can tell in Robb's vocals and just in the lyrical themes, he is pissed off. He's pissed off about what was going on at the time in the 90s, and obviously I was a kid in the 90s, and not obviously 94 was about, like I said, this came out 1st of June, so I wasn't even free yet, so wasn't too aware what was going on at the time. But listening to the songs, reading the lyrics, tackling social situations at that time. And like I said, you can tell how pissed off he really is. And the amount of energy him and Adam put into their vocals is ridiculous. The amount of dedication they put into their guitar work, the bass, the drums, everything just totally just goes well together. And this album flows. To me, it does flow. And of course, I'll show it back again because I did mention Colin Richardson, and of course, he's right down there. Recorded and engineered by, what's his name? Vincent? And then co-produced by Machine Head. So they all had their own input as well. So once again, an album that I do highly recommend. You know, if you like just really hard hitting, aggressive style of metal, just the more aggressive side, because obviously sometimes there's the more still heavy, but on the more mellow or operatic or symphonic side, which you know, but there is some metal that's got that, you know, operatic vibe, like that very melodic vibe. There's hints of it in this album, but easily gets, you know, overshadowed by just all the heaviness in it. So in conclusion, and I've said this about the other albums, and I will be saying this about all the other albums that I will be covering in this series. It's heavy, it's aggressive, and well, the word I was thinking of about all the albums that I have covered on here, it's a timeless masterpiece. To others, it's probably not, but you can't deny that it had a certain impact back in the day and still has an impact to this day. And this will be an album I will put on every now and then. You know, and like I said, I got to see Machine Head do this entire album from start to finish when they played. It was in Bristol, I do remember that. I can't remember what year. It might have been 2014, so 20 years after it came out. So yeah, just an aggressive album. So once again, this is Machine Head and their debut, Burn My Eyes. Just, man, just a very aggressive album, very, very well mixed, mastered, engineered, produced, everything, and the artwork's really cool. And that's the end of this episode of My Metal Vault. And like I said, I got a lot more to do, so I got one more on this page to do, and then that page is just done. And then I got, you know, all the episodes that are in the 40s now, so gonna get episode 40 to 46 pretty much done for that page, and then continue on from there. And I may take a break from that series for a while, just so I can look through my albums and see what else is there that I can chat about. So I got another episode to do for this page, and once that's done, I'll be cracking on with the next ones once I am back from Yorkshire, from Warhorns. So once again, thank you very much for tuning in to this episode. To anyone brand new, once again, welcome to my channel and this series. And to all of you watching, don't forget to like this video, share it around, comment down below if you have anything to say about the band, the album. If you've heard the album, what did you think of it? And if you've seen the band, what did you think of them live? And again, back to the album, if you got it back in the day, what were your first impressions? And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with everything that I'm doing on my channel, because I got loads more of My Metal Vault. We'll get back onto my favorite death metal albums probably next week now, because I was going to try and do it either last week or the week before that. I just couldn't get it in, so I'll try and do it next week when I get back. You know, well, I'm getting back Sunday, so I might do it Monday. My favorite metal underground releases, that series needs to get, you know, started again. And I just got so much more planned, and obviously try and get some more Jake's Metal Chat interviews and more collabs for this series. And yeah, that's about it. So thank you very much for tuning in. I've been Jacob Jake's Metal Chat. Keep that banner of metal held high, and I will see you all again in another episode of my Metal Vault.